So, Fan Quesos normally is just you guys asking me questions, which you're always allowed to do. Always. Actually, I almost forgot I have one over here in my screenshots. Let me take that one and put that up. But normally that's how we do this. You guys just shoot me questions. I answer them for you guys on the show. Pretty basic stuff there. But this time we had a little bit of a switcheroo on you guys. So I asked Rams fans a question. And I couldn't necessarily make this a poll because it's a pretty open-ended question. But not only could you guys submit questions to me, but I wanted to hear from you guys. What would you offer the Houston Texans for DeShaun Watson? Keeping in mind the draft picks that the Rams have or do not have, Jared Goff's contract, as well as the Houston Texans salary cap situation, which if you guys are not following, is not good. It's not awesome. Chances are they're going to struggle for a little bit to kind of repair that, and then they'll be able to bounce back. Just kind of like the Rams are doing right now. We're eating a lot of dead cap and stuff like that. The Texans are going to be dealing with this as well. But I wanted to throw that question out there. What would you offer the Houston Texans for quarterback DeShaun Watson, keeping in mind the Rams draft picks, like the draft capital that the Rams have right now, Jared Goff's contract, and the Texans cap situation? I need you guys to consider those three things. If you guys are watching my video or listening to my podcast somewhere, drop it below. I want to hear from you guys, and I want to open this conversation because I would like to see that happen. I would love for DeShaun Watson to become the Rams quarterback. I just genuinely don't see a way that we have enough to offer them to have them be like, all right, you guys can have this superstar quarterback that's going to change your offense day one under a guy like Sean McVay, who they already say is this offensive messiah. So that's my question to you guys. Feel free to drop your answers. Please drop your answers. And I want to know what you guys think. And if you don't think it'll happen, then give me the quarterback that you want to be under center next year for the Rams, whether that's Jared Goff, John Wolford, Blake Bortles, or somebody else. I want to know. I want to hear from you guys. Let's talk quarterbacks, all right? I like Jared Goff. I wanted Jared Goff. I've been very open about that. I don't think Jared Goff's a bad quarterback by any means, and I would love for him to be back. But if he's not, I'll support whoever's next. That's just how I am. Jared Goff is the Rams quarterback right now, so he's got my support. If we signed a guy that I've not been a fan of, I'll still support him. I mean, he's the Rams quarterback. You know what I mean? I'm not an Aqib Talib fan or an Ndamukong Suh, but hey, in 2018, I was glad they were kicking some butts, all right? Taking us to helping Rams go to the Super Bowl and business like that. Let's start with these fan quesos. This one here comes from John. What is the percentage chance Goff will not be the starting quarterback for the Rams next season? If I had to put a percentage on him not being the Rams quarterback next season, I would say that's probably it's probably pretty low, and I think a big part of that is because of his contract situation. We have to consider that. You guys, you can't just drop and pick up whoever you want, all right? There's a whole salary cap to get around. And I know that the Rams have done a really good job about that, but it still exists, and the Rams still do need to take that into consideration. The fans, I think, need to take that into consideration. List needs taking that into consideration. It's part of his job. But I would say it's pretty low that he's not the Rams starting quarterback. I would say 80% chance. Maybe that even feels low to me. 80% chance that he will be the Rams starting quarterback next year. I really do believe it's happening. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little naive there or something. I don't know. But I think Jared Goff is the Rams quarterback next year. Next question here from John. Should the Rams trade away Aaron Donald to acquire a top-flight quarterback such as DeShaun Watson? No. And the reason that I say no they're so, I guess, quick is, Aaron Donald is a Hall of Famer, and you don't trade him for a guy that you think will be pretty good in your offense. I think DeShaun Watson's a star. And that shouldn't blow anybody. They're like, what? Hot take over here, Joe. But no, I think DeShaun Watson, obviously very, very talented quarterback, and would change the Rams offense day one. But you take Aaron Donald out of the Rams defense, and our defense is not nearly that good. And I know that, we lost our defensive coordinator. We'll talk about that here shortly, but that's you don't drop a Hall of Famer for a guy that's really, really good. That's kind of how I see it. But no, I wouldn't even entertain Donald in that situation here. Let's keep these rolling here. This one comes from Joel. Oh, actually, some of these, by the way, I need to give this disclaimer. Some of these are answers to my question of what would you give the Texans for DeShaun Watson, keeping in mind the Rams draft capital, Jared Goff's contract, and the Houston Texans salary cap situation. Keeping that stuff in mind, what would you do? So some of these are going to be that. We'll reference it when it happens, just like right meow. So Joel said it won't happen. 100% agree. Strong start, Joel. But I would trade Goff, Rapp, Seabass, this year's third, next year's first, and third. I don't know if they would take that. I don't think that's enough. You got Jared Goff's contract that you need to consider, and the fact that he turns the ball over a lot. Taylor Rapp, who really didn't have that good of a season, didn't improve from year 1 to year 2. I would have loved to see an improvement there. Seabass, he's a rotational guy. Not sure they need him. With J.J. Watt most likely leaving, I would say that maybe that would be intriguing. This year's third, don't think they care about that. Next year's first, they want a high pick this year and a third next year as well, which I don't think they would care about as much. I don't think it's enough, Joel. I really don't. That's what I'll say. I think that if we offered that to the Texans, they would say no. I think they would say, what else can you throw in? Where's a Josh Reynolds at? Where's let me look what you got over there with Gerald Everett. I mean, those guys are free agents, but I think that's what that conversation would go to is what else you got? What about Darius Williams? What do you want? Like, what? Throw him in and maybe we'll talk. Like something like that. I feel like is how that conversation would go. Fernando wants to know nothing. I wouldn't trade for Watson. Dude, I hate that that's all the information you gave. Because I have follow-up questions. Okay? No, I do not want one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL today. Why? I don't understand it. I realize that you're a Jared Goff guy just like me, but I mean, I would kick Jared Goff to the curb for DeShaun Watson today. There's a lot of guys that I would take right now, but I also don't care. I like whoever's the Rams quarterback, I will support. And I say that every week. And everybody still has their guys that they want, and everybody else sucks. So I don't know how else to say it, or if I can say it well enough to where people be like, actually, that makes sense. Let's just go with whoever we got. It's very I'm not going to get into politics, but it's very much like politics where it's like you want, some people want one president to fail because they didn't like him or didn't want to vote for him. They wanted somebody else, so they root for failure. And if Jared Goff fails, then the Rams are failing, and that's not what I want. And so it's a similar thing as if you're rooting for a president to fail, you're rooting for the country to not do well, because why would the president be absolutely just destroying it or destroying the country, but the country also doing well? So it doesn't make sense. So if you like Jared Goff, that's awesome. But not liking Jared Goff is awesome too, whatever you need to do. But rooting for his failure is one thing I don't understand. We're all Rams fans, and I think we want the Rams to win. That's what I want. I don't know. This one comes from Cody. How big of a loss is Staley leaving, and is changing DC 2 years in a row have potential to affect the defense like changing OCs for a quarterback? I honestly, I know Rams fans are really, really upset about losing Brandon Staley, and I get it. I liked him too. He ran a very heavy cover 6 look, and the way that he aligned his defensive line was a big part of it. The way that he would just set up those matchups was a very big part of his success. And I think that if the Rams were to A, promote somebody from within, or B, hire the guys that everybody thinks we're going to hire, which has not been official yet, then I don't think that it's going to be that big of a deal, honestly. And it sucks to see Staley go, especially to the Chargers. I liked Staley, and I don't know, man. It's I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Eventually people catch on to things, and I think Aaron Rodgers caught on to that defense. I mean, they put up 32 on us. So and Rodgers did. He's like smirking before plays and stuff. He saw something, and that's now on tape. So ultimately, as much as I like Staley and would have liked to have kept Staley, that's not possible anymore. So I'm trying to find the silver lining in that, which is that Aaron Rodgers, who's a Hall of Famer, but he was able to find the weak spot in that defense and kind of pick it apart a little bit and keep moving the football. And our defense had maybe its worst day of the season. And now that's on tape. So I think a little bit of a switch up is not a bad thing in that situation. Mark, why? What's happening today? I posted that Ram Showcase is the only thing that's important happening today. I stand by it, Mark. Cody, how does our offense with McVay go from 30 points a game to this when we have a really... are we really a deep threat away? When we got Cooks, it did seem fair. Seemed to make a fair difference. Sorry, I totally butchered your question, man. He doesn't write that bad. I read that poorly, apparently. So, yeah, actually, the deep threat, I think, was a Goff thing. It's not a McVay thing, because the plays are being still being drawn up. And I know there's some other Rams people out there saying that they're not being drawn up. They are. They exist. It's just that I feel like Jared Goff doesn't trust some of these guys because we don't have that burner right now. It's unfortunate. I like Josh Reynolds, but he's the fastest guy on the roster right now, and that's not exactly what you want. Next one from Cody. What can we do or what pieces can we add to go to the next level? A deep threat. I want Chris Godwin. That's my offseason storyline. I haven't said that to you guys, I don't think. I've said that to some people offline, but Chris Godwin is who, if the Rams could find a way to bring in Godwin, I feel like this offense would take a jump. I feel good about that. That's what I want. Next one from Cody. I'm going to have to start cutting these down. We're going to have to pick out the best ones or something because I have so many. Well, we're going to plow through. Giving you guys good answers, but we got to plow through a little bit. Let's see. Cody wants to know, is our offensive line not having any stars other than an aging Whitworth not being talked about enough? I think the Saffold loss was huge. He's a top 10 run blocker. He's a top 5 run blocker, sir. All right. But no, actually, our offensive line's really good. It's really deep, too. And I'd mentioned that all year. Whitworth goes down, and we still have a guy on the bench who I believe is a starter. And I know that he played pretty poorly. I'm talking about Bobby Evans. Played pretty poorly. What was it? Was it this last week? Or was it Seattle? No, I think it was this one, actually. Yeah, it was this week. He did not look very good, but I still like the guy. I think one bad game doesn't define a career. Everybody will want to look at the most recent game from somebody to see if they think they're good or not. I don't do that. I kind of do a body of work thing, and I think Bobby Evans is a very, very good player. But no, I don't think our offensive line is that bad at all, actually. I think our offensive line's got a lot of talent, and if that was Andrew Whitworth's last game, then I still feel good about this offensive line. Next one from Cody. Or is possibly losing a superstar like Gurley hurt our offense more than fans realize, considering teams had to account for him, even though his knee is washed now, of course. No, that was a pretty low impact move for the Rams offense. I think that they replaced that production with guys like Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson, especially when Henderson he was a little bit on a hot streak, and then of course he went down, so Akers kind of took that over, and he was playing really well. But no, Gurley, pretty low impact because you always have to account for the running back, no matter who it is. Any running back in the NFL, the Rams have 3 running backs on their roster right now that are starters. They're good players, and that's why running backs aren't getting paid anymore, is because there's good players all over the place. They're everywhere. Every team's got at least 2 running backs that can get the job done at a high level. So that's why they're not getting paid, and that's why... That's actually why Aaron Jones is probably going to be a free agent, because he does not agree with me there, it seems like. Let's see here. Why is the offensive guru McVay having trouble figuring out what he considers delegating some of the offensive play calling duties to help him up to date on the ever-changing... That, I feel like you missed words there, man. I think I know what you're saying. Why is Sean McVay not delegating? I think he's trying to. And I think that's why he blocked O'Connell from interviewing with the Chargers. It would have been a lateral move, so he's allowed to say no. But as far as offensive guru McVay, I think that still exists. And I don't think enough blame, and I cannot reiterate it enough. I am a Jared Goff guy. I like Jared Goff. I think a lot of that this year has to be put on the shoulders of the quarterback. Too many turnovers, too many mistakes. Too many times did we see a kind of bad ball come out of the hand of Goff. And that's just got to stop. So hopefully that stops next year. Next one from Cody is, Is this an offensive league now with defense winning championship a thing of the past? No. An amazing defense will still help you move along. I know that we just saw number one defense versus number one offense, and the defense lost, but I think it's important to consider that Aaron Rodgers is not human, and he did an amazing job of picking apart that offense, and I think that he is smart enough to pick out that Brandon Staley defense, and he was able to have some success there. But no, I think that if the Rams could have made it past this game, I would have felt really good about this Rams defense playing against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. So no, I don't think that that's true at all. Paul wants to know, Paul's the Jets fan, host of the Jet Zone, which is on Sports War Radio. I check out his live videos all the time on YouTube and stuff. Good stuff from Boy Green, who is on the Score 1260 out in Syracuse, New York. Go Paul, man, you're the man. All right, let's see here. Any interest in Sam Darnold? Also, can you rank the possible available quarterbacks that the Rams could go out after if Goff isn't the answer? I wouldn't hate Sam Darnold, but I also don't want a New York Jets reject, and I realize that the Jets defeated the Rams this year, but there's also something to be said about that, and I actually think that Sam Darnold stays with the Jets. I think that bringing in Salah, or whatever his name is, the meathead from San Francisco, I think bringing him in, and the fact that now the Jets sit at number 2, I think that they keep Darnold and try to get him a weapon. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. But as far as available quarterbacks that the Rams could go after, I'm looking at this list. Not very awesome. I'm not a fan of this list, actually. Dak Prescott, I don't know how I would feel about that. That'd be a weird one. Jacoby Brissett, he's 29. Well, that's an interesting one. Trubisky, obviously, none of us want him. Fitzpatrick is 39, so no. I really like Tyrod Taylor, but he's 32. The only good thing about bringing in Tyrod Taylor would mean that you've got your next superstar quarterback on the roster with whoever's behind him, so that's good news. And then the rest of these names are just like very not amazing names. You got Geno Smith, Joe Flacco, Nathan Peterman, Sean Mannion, everybody. Rams fans' favorite quarterback in the history of the universe for some reason. So, yeah, man, not amazing. And that's actually, I of those names, I still want Jared Goff. That's what I'll say. Where do you think JJ will land? Since it's the Texans, I'd offer a 7th-round pick and a vending machine from the staff break room. They'd probably take it, but most likely not. So, I don't know, man. I don't know where JJ goes. I'm actually guessing Pittsburgh. Ben answering my question here for what you would give to the Texans. Goff, 1st-rounder and a 2nd-rounder. Not enough. Not nearly enough. Also, we don't have a first this year. They want a high 1st-round pick this year. That's why Miami makes sense. The Jets make almost all the sense. And that's the one thing that I think that the Jets could get away with is going for DeShaun Watson and then shipping out Sam Darnold to maybe Houston. And then obviously Houston would have that number 2 spot there. So, and they wouldn't need a quarterback, but it'd be an interesting. Well, I mean, maybe I don't know what they want to do, but it'd be interesting to see how that unfolds. This one comes from MJ. Other than Watson, what other realistic options of Goff's replacement do you think we'd have? We'd have to maybe look at the draft, or go with one of these guys and hope that a Sean McVay offense could spark him. Maybe an RG3 who's worked with McVay in the past. And last one here from MJ. After watching a video of McVay at quarterback and watching Wolford the play, then it looked like they had similar skill sets and playing styles. Did you see this too? Yes, I did, actually. I don't know why I didn't just mention that, but yeah, I know I saw that, and it makes sense that McVay would like Wolford. They have very similar styles as far as their playing time. Let's see. It makes me think that McVay would be more comfortable with himself at quarterback. Who would best fit that mold? Oh, man, that's a tough one. Actually, of the available people, I think Dak Prescott. I think that would be the Rams' strongest option as far as free agency goes. Let's move on, though, from Fan Quesos.